Welcome back to our city, where I'm joined by Lisa Barron from the Army Corps of Engineers and Craig Donovan from the Future City Incorporated, a board member. So, Craig, tell us about the Elizabeth River Arthur Kill Watershed Association and its impact on Estuary Day. And what is it?
Sure. Well, the Watershed Association is an organization dedicated to improving and preserving the quality of the water and the watershed here in this area, Port Authority of New York, New Jersey, particularly the Arthur Kill area here where Elizabeth is located. And we do a variety of activities. For example, clean water. We all know that the waterfront is still coming back from decades of problems. So there are still toxic materials, and we want to make sure that we help educate our local citizens to know that if they do use the watershed, if they do fish or crab, they really shouldn't be eating that product right now. We want to make sure that we understand where the issues are and where they come from. So we do water quality testing and monitoring along the waterfront and in a variety of areas, and then we report our findings on an ongoing basis to various state and federal authorities. We've been doing an educational program focusing on things like the storm drains. The idea that anything you put out onto the ground, onto the pavement, ends up running into the storm drains. From the storm drains, it ends up in the water. So we want to help people understand how important it is to deal with hazardous material and daily waste by not just dumping it into our seas and into the watershed. And then, of course, we have Environmental Day and Estuary Day, which is really an educational program to teach the citizens and the students about what we're doing and the environment they live in and how they can be better stewards.
So, Lisa, he leads us into the next question with, how was Estuary Day, and what is the perspective from the Army Corps of Engineers about their involvement in Estuary Day?
Well, I think that the 15th was the best so far, the 15th event. I think that it was tremendously successful. There was 280 students there from 14 different schools, and I guess ranging from 7th grade to seniors in high school, and 25 educators as well. So when that auditorium was filled for the welcoming ceremony, it was jam-packed with a lot of students. And so it was just a great event when they can learn about all the different partners, not only learn about the estuary, but all the different partners' roles and responsibilities and how they can influence the estuary. But there was a lot of displays around the auditorium and in adjacent classrooms, but there were workshops. I got to teach I did a presentation to most of the schools, like I think 10 of the schools out of 14, and just talked about what the role of the Corps is and what our responsibility, and try to get them excited about a future in the environmental world so that they can be a part of it. And I know there was even 3 of the local Elizabeth schools that did displays and workshops. I believe it was it Dwyer, Edison, and Jefferson academies that did their own displays. And then when we had the welcoming ceremony, of course, your remarks always get them riled up and get excited about the day. And I was really honored to give the remarks on behalf of the federal, local, and partners that were there. And the specific partners that participated that day was not only the Corps, but the Coast Guard, New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, as well as the New York, New Jersey Baykeeper, and the Historic Society of Elizabeth. And so they got to hear from all of us and learn about the estuary and how they can make a difference.
So Lisa, you think this plays a role in the future? You think things sink in? You know,
I
want to
hope
ask Craig
so.
the same question, right?
You know, I start off when I was lecturing, you know, who wants to be, who has a future plan to be, whether they're an environmental scientist or they're interested in biology or geology, some kind of science field. You know, you get a few people raise their hand, and then at the end, who got really excited, has changed their mind and want to go into this role. And I actually got a couple of people that did a flip, you know, and said, you know what, this was really interesting. And I think that they're always very surprised at with the Corps being the, you know, world's largest engineering organization since 1775, I think, and they really see the really large construction jobs that we do and the kind of influence that all of our partners do. I'm hoping that they get excited about a future career.
So before we close, I want to talk about Hurricane Sandy, the Army Corps of Engineers. Craig, in your educationally, what is it, 100-year storm, 500-year storm? That doesn't happen often, right?
Well,
Let's hope it doesn't happen again in our lifetime, right?
I remember they started off saying it was going to hit Baltimore, then it was going to hit Atlantic City, and when Joaquin, we were lucky it just stayed on the ocean. This all comes to the notion of climate change. I think one of the issues is that climate change is real, and these kind of 100 and 500-year things may become more frequent. And that's one of the things we want to help people understand and be concerned about, and motivate the students to be involved in the sciences and studying that and become the people who help us understand and cope with these issues. And that's one of the exciting things we do here at Kane.
So Lisa, the Army Corps of Engineers was instrumental not only in our area, but in restoration after Hurricane Sandy. Tell us some of the efforts that the Army Corps put in after Hurricane Sandy.
Yeah, we were tasked once the hurricane hit and Congress awarded or did an appropriations for was the Sandy Disaster Appropriations Bill of 2013, and they gave almost $5 billion to the Corps of Engineers, and we have allocated about $3.75 billion so far, 59 projects to repair, restore, and plan for the future of the coastline. And so since the estuary, you know, the estuary has 1,000 miles of coastline that we have to worry about, and there was the
$5 billion's not going very far in 1,000 miles.
well, it's, you know, and that's the whole estuary. So how much was actually impacted?
Okay.
We looked at projects that we had to repair. So a lot of the beach nourishment, a lot of our beaches had to be place sand on them, and so between New York and New Jersey, there was over 15 million cubic yards of sand that has gone on and been placed with rebuilding the dunes and planting beach grass. And so there's been, and the Philadelphia district has a large role south of Manasquan Inlet down just right at the Long Beach Island. And I know a lot of people in Elizabeth and in New Jersey head to the New Jersey shore, and hopefully were pleased this summer when they went there and saw a larger beach. And so, you know, in addition to rebuilding and repairing and restoring the beaches, also looking at projects that plan for the future. And so we've expedited a lot of feasibility studies so that we can figure out what is the right solutions so that we can plan for future hurricanes and storm surge and flooding and reduce that risk.
So Craig, and real quick, we're going to close, but I read a story where in the last 250 years, New Jersey's lost 125 miles of its coastline, basically, because of storm surges. And we constantly fight this battle that Lisa's talking about putting extra sand. Does it reach a point where we can't do it anymore?
Well, not only that, but of course the tide, you know, the ocean levels are rising. So we're losing a little bit of land every year just to a higher ocean. So yes, it's a real big issue, and it's something I think in the next 25 years that's going to be a major issue for Elizabeth and any community here that is on the waterfront.
Craig, Lisa, I want to thank the two of you for taking the time to join us on the show this evening, as well as your work in educating students about Estuary Day. Craig, you do a great job with the college students. Lisa, you do a great job every year coming to see us, and appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to do the show.
Thank you so much for having us.
For Lisa Barron and Craig Donovan, I'm Chris Bolwage. We'll see you next week on another edition of Our City.
Offering everything you could want from college. including a life. Kane University.